Good evening, you're watching Primetime News on MTV Sports. My name is Ravi Gamage.
And I'm Sonali Vanigabadage. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
The four chief prelates request the President to reconsider the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice. The LSSP decides not to be a signatory to the impeachment motion against the CJ. The UNP deputy leader says the country has no use for a parliament that does not represent the supremacy of the people. The President says job satisfaction can only be achieved by working with a conscience. And court permits police to detain and interrogate suspects in the Podala quadruple murder for a further 48 hours.
On to the news in detail. President Mahinda Rajapaksa states that job satisfaction can only be achieved by carrying out one's duty properly. The President made this observation at an event held to recruit 5,000 officials to the Public Health Service.
The event, which was held at Temple Trees this morning, saw appointment letters being presented to officials in various fields in the public health service, including medical laboratory technicians, physiotherapists, professional therapists and family health officers. You will be able to feel the same happiness you feel today on your appointments when you retire, only if you work according to your conscience. You must be honest to yourself, carry out your duties properly. It is because we believe that you will be able to serve better than those in the private sector that we decided to strengthen the public service.
The Badegam magistrate has permitted the Podala police to detain and interrogate the suspects in the quadruple murder in Podala for a further 48 hours. Our reporter says that the Podala police had produced the suspects in court today and requested the Badegam magistrate Mahinda Pinidya to issue detention orders.
The police discovered the four bodies with their limbs bound and heads covered near the Mahason culvert in Podala last morning. Janaka Pushpakumara from Bandungodawatta in Ambalanwatta Gaul was a sailor in the Sri Lankan Navy. The 24-year-old was unmarried. The eldest in a family of two children, Janaka Pushpakumara, arrived home several days ago while serving at the Southern Navy base in Gaul. The commanding officer of the base paid his last respects to Janaka Pushpakumara today. One of the other victims was 18-year-old Malit Madhushankar. His family says that he was preparing to travel abroad. Malit Madhushankar, who has one sister, left home the day before yesterday for a birthday party. W. Amila Nishanta from Henewatta, a carpenter by trade, was among those killed. The fourth victim was 30-year-old J.M. Janaka, a vegetable trader by profession. J.M. Janaka was a father of one and his wife is pregnant with their second child. Meanwhile, the police said that investigations are being conducted on the phone calls received by the victims.
The businessmen whose remains were discovered in the Nanoya area on the 31st of last month were brought to C Street in Colombo today.
The deceased has been identified as Sinnadurai Indeshwaran, a 53-year-old businessman from C Street in Colombo. He was the resident of Armour Street and a father of two. His remains were discovered on the 31st of last month from the Nanoya area. The body was brought to C Street at 11 a.m. today. Meanwhile, a protest was also held against the murder and all business establishments in the C Street area remained closed today. We have a good police force which is capable of doing its job. However, the government should provide them with the necessary freedom and power. The police becomes active only when the government wants it to be. However, on other occasions, it is not active. Everyone operates under the law, so the government has a duty to provide security to everyone. This should be the last death of this nature.
පොලිසිය අවස්ථාව දෙනවා. නමුත් අනිත් අවස්ථාවල පොලිසිය ක්‍රියා වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
A suspect connected to the murder has been arrested and is in remand custody. The remains of the businessman are currently lying at a private funeral parlour in Colombo. April 2011 to October 2012. 9 murders in Kahawatta. Most recent incident, 31st October 2012. A 60-year-old woman is hacked to death inside her home. A police post located less than half a kilometre away from the crime scene. An STF camp will be established in the area to apprehend suspects in these killings. Commanding Officer of the Police STF, DIG RMC Ranavana. Will the terror in Kahawatta come to an end?
The Mahanayakas of the 4 main sects have written to President Mahinda Rajapaksa requesting him to reconsider the impeachment motion that has been brought against Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranayake.
The letter to the President was signed by the chief incumbents of the Malwatu and Askari chapters as well as the chief prelates of the Amarapura and Ramanya Mahanikayas. The letter notes that a crisis has been created both locally and internationally over the impeachment motion that has been brought against the Chief Justice. The chief prelates note that many individuals consulted them on the matter and this prompted them to draw the attention of the President to it. The chief prelates further note that it is clear to any person who respects the principles of democracy that whoever may be supreme, the legislature, the executive and judiciary are not second to each other in supremacy when it comes to implementing the law and good governance. The joint letter notes that the chief prelates consider it the supreme duty of all those who expect the well-being of humanity to create an environment where the law can be implemented independently and impartially. The letter further states that history has confirmed that when dealing with the judiciary, which contributes immensely to protect the rights of all, including the common citizens of the present democratic society, action should be taken carefully and patiently without harming the trust placed by the public in the judiciary. The letter further states, quote, at a time when the nation is facing natural disasters, foreign interference and economic and social issues, and when an environment should be created to unite the nation to face these challenges, it is not at all suitable to create an obstacle to this endeavour by creating a doubt in the minds of the people as to the independence of the judiciary, unquote.
The Lanka Sama Samaja Party has decided to remove the name of its representative from the list of signatories to the impeachment motion brought against Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranayake. Speaking to News First, the Deputy Secretary of the party, Anil De Souza, explained the reason for this.
The Politburo of the LSSP discussed this impeachment motion. Following discussions, the Politburo decided that we should not be party to this impeachment motion. YG Padmasiri is the LSSP representative in Parliament. The Politburo has instructed him to remove his name from the list of signatories to the impeachment motion. Accordingly, he submitted a letter to the Speaker today requesting that his name be removed from the list of signatories to the motion.
Meanwhile, several political party representatives expressed their views regarding the impeachment motion against Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranayake.
Why is substandard fuel being brought to this country? Wasn't the corrupt hedging agreement also implemented through the power of Parliament and the executive, which they are trumpeting about? As a parliamentarian, I would like to fearlessly state now that there is no use for a parliament which does not truly represent the supremacy of the people. There are times when Parliament is in the wrong. When Parliament is in the wrong, the place where it can be corrected is the judiciary of our country.
බොහොම එඩිතරව පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් හැටියට ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට කැමැතියි. අද රටේ ඉන්න ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨතම කාන්තාව, ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨම කාන්තාව
The most senior woman in the state service today is the Chief Justice, and she is in that position because of the service she has done to the country and the people. Today, this government, in its bankrupt style, is shamelessly trying to exact revenge from her like they exacted revenge from us by making false charges. She has been charged with misbehavior. Now they are trying to defame her. We must save the country from this system. The blows that were directed at us are now being directed at the judiciary. We are ready to go before the people on behalf of the judiciary and to move forward on behalf of the judiciary and the country.
මන්නාරමේ අධිකරණයට ගල් ගහපු එවැගේම අධිකරණ සේවා කොමිෂන් සභාවේ ලේකම්වරයාට
What steps have been taken against the minister who was involved in pelting stones at the Manor Court and exerting pressure on judges? It has been nearly a month since the assault on the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission. We need to ask the government as to what measures have been taken against the culprits who committed this assault. What steps have been taken against those who were involved in the hedging deal which wasted millions of public funds? What steps have been taken against those who imported substandard petrol, diesel, cement and medicine? We are compelled to ask these questions.
බාල පෙට්‍රල් බාල ඩීසල්
හොරුන්ට දෝෂාභියෝග කියනවනේ මම
If impeachment motions are to be brought against rogues, then impeachment motions will have to be brought against many of those in parliament. The cabinet is full of rogues. Therefore, we believe that the people of the country must question the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. We believe that this problem is part and parcel of the problem with democracy in the country today. They are exacting revenge from the people who do not agree with them. Whether the government is corrupt or not is not the question today. The question the people are asking is whether the UNP is prepared to save them. We are ready to do this, but we must show it. Do not worry, the government has already dug its own grave. Because of the 18th Amendment, the government will not fall right away, but it has begun to implode. The last nail in the coffin was interfering with the judiciary. No one who interfered with the judiciary has survived.
A protest march was held in Colombo today under the theme, Let's Condemn Attacks on the Judiciary, Let's Rally for Democracy. The march was organized by the People's Movement for Democracy.
The protest march commenced from near the Hulsdorf Court Complex and proceeded to the Fort Railway Station. One minister attacked the Vaunia and Manor Magistrate Courts with stones and destroyed it. They didn't stop there. They attacked the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission, which is a body responsible for the enrollment, promotion and transfer of judicial officials in the country. Where is the country heading? They didn't stop there either. Now they have presented an impeachment motion in Parliament against the Chief Justice. This should be taken back. This is a problem connected to the democracy of the country.
The steps that are to be taken with regard to the impeachment motion against the Chief Justice, Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike, have drawn the attention of many. Later on in the news, we will be seeking expert opinion on this. Still in local news, the former UNP organizer of Baddigamma, Anand Lanarol, says that the move by the party leader to invite only his close associates to the party convention and thereby extend his tenure by 6 years shows how democracy within the party is being violated. Meanwhile, former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca points out that politicians should cast aside their personal agendas and work towards toppling the government through a broad common opposition. He stated that politicians who do not wish to join such a broad alliance are those who do not wish to topple the current regime.
A proposal to extend the tenure of the party leader, which is currently limited to 1 year by the UNP constitution, to 6 years, is to be tabled at the party convention on the 1st of December. The UNP General Secretary has stated that only nominated persons will be able to participate in the party convention. This opposition leader is not one who is in his position as per the will of the people. He has his own agenda. He is in a position where he has a common agenda with the current president and government and needs to protect the facilities given to him like offices, vehicles and bulletproof vehicles. In other countries, you need only 1 or 2 trumps to topple a government. Over the past 2 to 3 years, the government has given the opposition about 1,000 trumps. The current opposition leader takes all these trumps and buries them on the first day. He is protecting the government through these actions. We wonder if, as has happened in other countries, whether he is on a journey to join the government with a position like Prime Minister and then live in luxury. I promise that until this government is toppled, until this government is sent packing, I will continue to work towards strengthening the opposition and building a common opposition. If any politician in the opposition is unable to get on board with the common opposition, that means they have a private agenda. That politician does not think of you. That politician does not want to topple the government.
ඒ දේශපාලනඥයන්ට රජය පෙරලන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ.